Welcome to the North State Breakdown with Benjamin Nguyen. Today, I'd like to go over the agenda for the upcoming Shasta County Board of Supervisors meeting on October 29th, 2024. Let's start with the regular calendar. R1 is sponsored by Supervisor Cry. This item is to adopt a proclamation recognizing the importance of CPR and automated external defibrillator training in our community. Considering heart issues can strike at any time, encouraging more people to get trained could be a real lifesaver. This proclamation aims to increase awareness and encourage participation in community training programs, potentially saving lives during emergencies when every second counts. Next up is R2, where the CEO will be giving updates and the supervisor will be delivering board reports. R3 is a resolution that will appoint Ashley Jones as the public defender, effective November 3rd. She's been with the department for over 14 years, which could be a good opportunity to bring institutional knowledge into leadership. However, it's critical to ensure the public defender remains an independent body, free from political influence. R4 is a financial presentation from Health and Human Services. This one's been on the agenda a few times, but it's been repeatedly postponed. It's particularly interesting because many believe that it's tied to the firing of former CFO Roshan Dean, who reported discovering financial irregularities during his tenure in HHSA. After bringing these issues to management, he was promptly terminated. Will this item stay on the agenda this time, or will it get postponed again? Definitely worth watching. R5 involves supervisors presenting their proposals for using the opioid litigation settlement funds. Previously, Mary Rickert was denied a spot on an ad hoc committee to oversee this, so now each supervisor is coming up with their own plan. The board's majority, Cry, Jones, and Kellstrom, seem to be trying to push their agendas, sidelining Rickert's extensive experience in the opioid crisis. Given that we're just days away from the election, this could be more about optics than real solutions. R6 and R7 involve conducting public hearings regarding vacating public utility easements in the Three Box Ranch Road and Keswick areas. The timing of these hearings, just before Patrick Jones leaves office, raises questions. Could they be connected to Measure P, the eminent domain ballot measure? The proximity to the election and Jones' departure suggests there could be a strategic motive here, possibly linked to future development plans or efforts to clear the way for specific projects. Keep your eye on these. R8 covers a zone amendment. The Planning Commission recommended denying the proposed shipping container zone amendment on October 10, 2024, with a unanimous 5-0 vote. But the Shasta County Board majority could still push this forward. Supervisor Cry had previously sent this back to the Planning Commission after they recommended denying the larger containers, hoping that the smaller containers would be approved. Watch for whether the board overrides the Planning Commission's unanimous decision. It could indicate some personal interests at play. R9 is about replacing certain geographic names related to the Natural Resource Agency. It might seem minor, but it's always worth noting how the board responds to issues like these. Next up is the consent calendar. There are 23 items on the consent calendar this week, including approving budget amendments, agreements with the California Department of Forestry for fire protective equipment, and contracts for mental health services. Let's cover some of what I consider to be the more notable items. C5 is the agreement with Ellis Investigations Law Corporation, which previously investigated the handling of the Attorney General's letter involving Patrick Jones and Kevin Cry. The investigation found no wrongdoing by Jones, but Cry's role was left unexamined. According to the investigation, Cry was aware of the letter and chose not to disclose it to the public, raising concerns about transparency and proper conduct. This lack of disclosure, especially in his role as a public official, suggests a potential failure in maintaining accountability, something to keep in mind as more funds are allocated to the Ellis Corporation. C23 is the resolution to adopt a hiring sign-on bonus for deputy district attorneys and deputy public defenders, which we are in desperate need of in Shasta County. Next up is public comment, which is likely to be heated, especially with the election just days away. Expect election deniers and calls against voting machines driven by misinformation from figures like Tina Peters, Douglas Frank, and Mike Lindell. If you believe in our election systems and the hard work of our local staff, consider showing up to support them. The board will also convene as the IHSS Public Authority Governing Board. IHSS workers provide essential care for family members and loved ones, helping them stay at home rather than in costly care facilities. There's no specific items listed, but it's worth keeping an eye on anything that might affect these vital services. Then, there's closed session for this meeting. Closed session item R10 includes labor negotiations with the United Public Employees of California, Local 792, which represents many county employees, a union I was proud to be a part of. Given the timing so close to the election, any decisions made in closed session could have significant implications for the county's future. Lastly, I'd like to remind citizens of Shasta County that Election Day is on November 5th, and it is extremely important that we are engaged in our local government. If you haven't yet, make a plan to vote. If you suspect any fraudulent activity or intimidation when voting, please contact Kevin Kashigian, the election officer appointed to our county, to report issues at 916-554-2723. You may also contact our local election office at 530-225-5730. Attending these board meetings as often as I do, it feels like there's a rush to push things through before the election, perhaps hoping the public won't notice. But that's what I'm here for, to make sure you see what's on the agenda and understand the implications. And that's the agenda preview.